you a bit of my relationship with leadership. We're going to do a little example of product leadership and then take a look at what we have learned from this example. Okay? So, my beginning was actually a long time ago. I know I didn't look it, but yeah, I started in '99. It was 20 years ago, and the IT market at that time was completely different than what you see today. My first job actually was a lot like in this picture. I didn't use PC. I worked on a terminal for the IBM mainframe. So, and most of my colleagues didn't use PC. They didn't even see Windows until 2000, I think. So our workplace at that time, in '99, end of the '90s, beginning of the 21st century, actually looked like US office in the '80s. It was kind of devastating for me, especially because in school I worked on PCs and I did programming and I did a lot of cool stuff, and I never saw it in practice. Also, the IT market at that moment was different because there were not a lot of privately held IT companies. Most of the IT jobs were in large corporate companies. Most of them were even still owned by the state. So in this large corporate company, you would actually have a large IT department, which was like an in-house IT company. And it reflected the culture that the entire company had. And it was very hierarchical and authoritative. It was mostly top-down, organized, and process-focused. And the overall culture was really traditional corporate culture, strict with rules. And my mentor was my manager. So the person that trained me was also somebody who was in charge of my performance review, my benefits, any increase in salary, my future opportunities, and so on, which was both good and bad. It really depended on the person and what they're capable of. Also, the training that I got was mostly task-driven. So what you need to do, instructions, step by step, without any bigger picture, without giving context why I need to do what I'm doing and in this specific way. So just do it. So 10 years after that, when I stepped into some management roles, I didn't know better. I wasn't prepared for that. The only thing that I knew was I needed to plan, I needed to allocate resources, I needed to assign people to the tasks, analyze risks, and similar. So in 2015, when I started in this new company on this completely new role for me called product owner, I was stuck. I didn't know what I needed to do because everything, literally everything was new, including the terminology. I had no idea what product management is. Agile, Scrum, Kanban, never heard of it. And even leadership. I mean, I heard of the word leadership, but I had no idea what it really meant. So I was like in Alice in Wonderland, what have I gotten myself into? So I quickly realized that I needed to learn, and I needed to learn fast. So I read a lot of books. I went to a lot of trainings. Basically, I read whatever I could find, both online, offline, talked to a lot of people. And at some point, I actually started to understand what product owner is and what she does. There were some things that were familiar for me with my previous experience and knowledge. I knew what business goals meant, I knew what business cases were for, I know what business strategy is, and sure, I knew how to do the clarifications and alignments. That was all clear. The part that I was missing was the part related to the product. So what is a product vision, strategy, how do you prioritize based on the business value? But somehow I really got to a point where these technical and hard skills were on a certain level that was acceptable for the organization. Then I found a separate challenge. And that was, this product owner role was placed in an organization as an independent role. So I had no authority, I had no people under me, I was not directly connected to anybody in the organization. I was sort of floating in this engineering organization. So how do I get the people to move to action? How do I get them to do what I need them to do? Basically, anybody could say no to me. Development team, even some stakeholders that were in my rank in the organization. So how do I get from this point where, yes, I know what I need to do and this is what needs to be made, and now people, let's go and make it. I have no idea. So I'm sure that you're all familiar with this picture. I was as well, but at that point I knew what a boss was because I was the boss at some point. I had no idea how to be a leader. So what do I do to get the people to follow me? So I started learning about leadership. So leadership is a set of skills that you need in order to motivate people into action towards a common goal. Leadership is driven by ideas, regardless if they're original or they're borrowed. A leader is somebody that takes this motivation and turns it into action. So people want to follow them. It can be an average person that has both the personality and skills needed to actually get this done. So what exactly are the leadership skills? There are many different definitions, and you will find that depending on what book you read and what blog you're reading, you will find different things. But most common things that overlap in all of those are actually communication, motivation, inspiration, but also positivity and integrity, delegation, feedback, creativity, responsibility, commitment, flexibility, but also empathy. Okay, so that's what a leader needs to know and learn how to do. But what makes a great product leader? Is there a difference between just a leader and being a product leader? After some time, these are the things that stood out to me the most. So a great product leader needs to live in the future but work in the moment. They need to be user-focused, almost obsessed. They need to prioritize based on the business impact. And they'll also need to have in mind always how to grow and make their teams stronger. They also need to do everything they can in order to bring the most important thing to everybody involved, to all the stakeholders, team, customer, management, and anybody else involved in the process. So when I was preparing this presentation, I think this is my sixth or seventh version of it. And initially it was meant to be a lecture because, yeah, that's my sort of natural state, let me just tell you. But then I realized, oh my God, they're gonna fall asleep. So let's mix it up. I was thinking we're gonna do a little bit of role play. So what I want you to imagine, that everybody in this room is actually part of the same organization, the same company called New Mobility. New Mobility is a new company in UK market, let's say London. And what we do is we rent electrical motorcycles and scooters to move around the town, charging by the hour. Okay, this is nothing new, you're all familiar with it, okay? Okay, so for the purpose of this exercise, I'm gonna need your help. So I'm gonna be your product manager, product owner, and you're gonna be my investors, management, development team, and customers, okay? So let's say from here on to the left, you're my investors, my decision makers. You're where the money is, okay? And from here to the end, I'm going to have my customers. Okay, you guys evaluate what we do and say if we're on the right path. And in the middle, I'm going to have my development team. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to present to you a new idea. I'm going to present to you a new idea that we have for a new product. And I want you all to think from the role that I just gave, okay? Okay. So, imagine it's 2035. It's not too far ahead that we cannot imagine it, but it's still not close, so a lot of things can happen. So just imagine that we're in 2035. And this is a new, smart, and connected world. So everything is connected. Our vehicles, traffic, city services, buildings, smart homes, and people are connected. And in this connected world, you live in this connected world. Imagine that you're a family person. You most likely live in the suburbs and you travel to the city for a job, okay? So you wake in the morning and you step out of bed and the house is already warm, just on the right temperature, and the music is playing to set the right mood in the morning. You go to the kitchen and your refrigerator already has a suggestion for your breakfast based on the nutrition plan that you're using. Then you go into the bedroom and you want to change your clothes, but the wardrobe already has something prepared to you based on the weather conditions, your activities of the day, and your personal style. Then when you're ready, you go into the car, most likely an autonomous vehicle that will drive you itself exactly where you need to go. In this situation, you're going to the train station because you can't go into the city, it's too crowded, and you will get stuck in the traffic. So you go to the train station. As soon as you get to the train station, the train is arriving. And you get in the train, get to the town center, get out, and you look for an electric scooter. You get on a scooter and go to near your office and just walk a couple more meters to the building. This all seems fairly simple and straightforward. Even though we're using 4 different transportations, it seems that it's not a big deal. But when you actually think about it, we did use 4 transportations and they were all connected to each other. If one fails, everything else fails in this journey. We also used several services that will be provided by the city of tomorrow. So we use the traffic to get to the train station. We use the parking for the car to park. We use the train information, arrivals and departures to know when exactly we need to be there. We use the hire of electrical scooter as one, and the last one is pedestrian navigation. So actually 5 services. Just one trip. Seems easy enough, right? It's actually very, very complex. So what I'm trying to suggest here is, what do you think if we as a new mobility actually try to simplify this complex mobility world? What if we be the unifier of all these experiences? So new mobility wants to unify the way we travel in the future. We want to unify the travel experience for all daily commuters, so that even though they're using different transportation types in one journey, they don't feel any stress due to the late of the traffic, or being stuck in a traffic, wasting time, or just being late when you're going somewhere. We can do this even now with the resources that are currently available in this 2019. There are different services that already provide individual navigations for all these segments that I mentioned. What if we integrate them all and offer a user a new experience? It won't be an innovation in a technical sense, but it will be an innovation in a user experience sense. there is no competitor on the market that is currently offering navigation with all transportation types. So this is actually my proposal to you. This is how our product vision board will look. So as I already said, the main problem that we want to solve is unifying the travel experience for the user. And our target group will be daily commuters, so people that daily travel and participate in traffic with some predictions in their movement. So just to disregard the groups like traveling merchants and things like that that don't really fit in. Then we're gonna address their needs. A first need is to actually help them navigate through the traffic with these different types of transport. And the second need is to reduce stress and anxiety due to the traffic they're going to encounter. The product would be an online service that will be presented to the end user via the mobile app. And as is already mentioned, there's no competitor on the market that's doing anything similar. This can really launch us, this can really set us apart from any competition we might have. And as the first goal, and I think one that's rather reachable for us as on our current situation, is to educate the market how our service, already existing service of leasing or renting the electric bikes and scooters, can actually seamlessly fit in their daily journeys. Because we're gonna offer exactly what they need at exactly the right time, at exactly the right place. The major KPIs for this would be the increase of the engagement with our service and of course the usage of our service. So who is ready to start the future today? I want to ask my investors. So do you already see the potential and the opportunity that this type of product can offer us? Yes? No. Okay. Who is then ready to actually discuss and take a look with me at the market research that I've done and some numbers so that we can maybe form different business cases to support this? Anybody? My investors?
I have a question. How long will it take the team to implement this? I mean, you said there are solutions already ready, they just need to be integrated. Why
No, not their solution. Different solutions for third parties that already exist for navigation for the car, navigation for pedestrians, and so on. This is just a hypothesis. I'm here to see if there's goodwill to actually further go with this.
How much money can we make out of this?
Excellent. Okay. So there are different options. Initially, this would be to further the current business that we have, to expand it. But later on, this will open us for new opportunities because, as I already explained, the whole future is going into connected world and connected services. So this will put us in a good position for the new market and for the new opportunities with all the different transport providers. We could be our service, their service towards the end user.
Do we have any predictions how much will it cost for the first MVP?
We need to figure that out. This is just an idea at this moment. I'm just looking to see if you're interested.
What does it mean? It will put us in good position in terms of return of investment.
Yes. No numbers there.
Good, not a
But it's
number.
not quantified.
At the moment, I'm glad that you're asking all these questions. I just want to see that you're, what? Oh wow, but we were late. We didn't start until, oh God, okay. Sorry guys,
Sorry.
we give you yes, everybody's on board.
We give you
whatever,
money.
okay, let's go.
No, but we are not. We really want to teleport.
Yeah? Okay, that's good.
From their
There's
back.
scope. There's scope. Yeah, I'm so sorry. This was, I really meant to do this as a survey to get your buy-in. This was just for a show, okay? But you get the idea. So we would discuss, I don't need any decisions today. I just need to see that you have an interest and you are interested in hearing more, asking questions, what does this entail and so on. And not just investors, but also customers, also development team. Okay, so that was the idea, but sorry about this. Yeah, it sort of fails my other points, but yeah, let's see if I can still manage something. Okay, so if you sort of have an idea what I was trying to explain this, I would like to see how many of you actually recognize some of the leadership skills that I actually tried to use here. Okay, so show of hands. Who thinks that there was communication, motivation, and inspiration here? Okay, good. Large number, thanks. So what about positivity and integrity? Okay, great. So I'm still on the right path. Okay. Commitment and responsibility. Okay.
We will see.
Yeah, that's good, because there wasn't really, I was looking for the commitment from you, because based on your commitment, my commitment will come as well, you know, if there's no interest. Okay, what about creativity and empathy? Yeah, okay, good. And delegation, feedback, flexibility, any of those? Yeah, I agree, not at this point, but yeah, okay, thanks. That was really good. So it was just a simple exercise actually to show what my point was, and that's not just the technical skills that you have and the business understanding that you have in a product role. You also need heavily to invest in your leadership skills, because without them you won't be able to actually sway anybody. And you need that. That's your secret weapon as the product owner. And one of the things that actually are absolute necessity if you want to sort of survive on this position, you need to think about the main motivators of the people, regardless of the position they're taking. If they're in a development team, if they're in management, if they're a customer, regardless where they are, you need to keep in mind about the three main motivators, about the purpose, mastery, and autonomy, and to offer that to people. What this means is actually for the purpose, in order for people to understand purpose, you need to give them the bigger picture, the context, this look into the future, which is an inspirational goal, which will actually motivate them. And give all what they do, give the purpose to their work, to their time, to their investment. Then for everybody to actually feel the mastery, you need to set the challenge, but a right challenge for each group. So for my investors, that would be, how do we make money from this? And it's not just on me to answer that, it's on all of us to answer that. On my development team, what are the different technical designs that we can use this? What are the different services and what we can get out of the existing things the most? What we can develop and so on? What are the ideas, grand technical ideas that will be sort of future-proof? And for my customers, I need to involve you, you know, to be part of this journey, because it's everything is about you. You need to understand that you're part of this discussion and part of this solution that we want to provide. So for each of the groups, you need to find the right challenge to set in front of them. For the autonomy, for each group, there has to be a certain level of autonomy so that people can actually express their opinions and make their own decisions. Because at the end of the day, the delegation that you do, delegate things to different people, is the most powerful thing, the most powerful tool that you have as a product owner. So you need to have the both technical and soft skills in order to really influence people and to turn those no's into yes. This is how you actually lead and manage without authority.